Hello everyone, this is Marcel here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the blue pill mindset, different ways they pick up women, and the usual outcome of such behavior. So, when I was in my mid-teens, I bought one of the first Palm Trios. It was a Palm Trio 700WX from Verizon Wireless. I got it for about $750 after a 2-year contract. So, I'll let you decide whether or not I got ripped off. Thing was the size of a cigarette pack and had a screen on it about half that size, but it used a stylus, and nobody else had those at that time. So why would I get it? Well, I got it for the same reason I did a lot of things back when I was younger. I got it for women. All I would have to do, and of course this wouldn't work nowadays, is I could walk up to a girl and hand her that phone and say, "Put your number in it." And she would do it. She would do it in a matter of seconds, wouldn't even think about it. She just put her number in, name, hand it right back to me. And it worked for that purpose, but then I realized that when I would call them or text them, they would be surprised and confused why I was actually contacting them. And it was actually them too. I don't think I ever got a fake number. They just never expected me to do it. So blue pill men create these techniques, whether they do it knowingly or not, that they use on women to get an outcome, whether it's a phone number or attention or getting laid, and they use them as long as they work, and they adapt them to try and get more attention, but the end result is almost always the same. I'll give you another example. I got a Kawasaki Ninja, and I really did it to impress girls. Whenever one of them showed attention to me because of the motorcycle, that ended up being all she was interested in. There's a pattern here, if you hadn't caught that yet. Both men and women have their techniques for impressing the opposite sex. For them, it's their visual appearance and their makeup and stuff, and for us, it's our money and our prestige and our power. You could say style to a lesser extent. So what's the problem with that? Well, the problem is that when you catch a woman's attention with these techniques, these methods, and it really doesn't matter how you do it, the reason why it doesn't work is because the very things that drew their attention to you are the only things they're generally interested in. I could take a woman out on multiple dates on that crotch rocket. At the end of it, I would try to hold her hand or something, and she'd be like, no, I don't think so. That's not what I'm here for. All those little methods that men use, they work, but they don't work in the way that the men want. If you fish with stink bait, you're gonna catch bottom feeders. That's just the way it is. So what's another method blue pill men use? How about being charming and sweet and romantic? There's one. So you take a woman and you figure how many times a day does she have men come up and hit on her or try and flirt with her or get her number? So many of these guys use this whole nice guy, you're pretty routine that they actually will go after the men that treat them like crap. What happens is they get used to hearing it so much that it becomes this kind of a narcissistic confirmation of the way that they look. And it isn't actually about finding a suitor. They're not even interested in all these guys that are asking them out. But they do keep tallies of how many men are doing it, which is why you have these women that tell you not to tell them they're pretty, but when no one does, they notice it really frickin' quick. Then the one that walks by and completely ignores her, or even more so, looks at her and tells her she looks like shit. That's the one she chases after. Hey, what do you mean? Wait, why? What do you think? What's wrong? So when this guy actually does land himself what he considers a decent girl, and when there's problems, and I'm talking about stupid problems that shouldn't actually affect the relationship, but for some reason do, I feel women like to inject those from time to time to keep men thinking they could lose them at any minute. Kind of makes them try harder. His first prerogative is to lay it on thicker, which is honestly about the worst thing a guy can do. The harder they try, the less the woman cares, because by trying, the guy is actually devaluing his own marketplace status. Eventually, it gets to a point of complete desperation where the guy is down on his knees in a supermarket begging the woman to stay, and she's there with her hand up saying, "No, screw you. You've had your chance," when he probably didn't do anything wrong. He was just trying to be himself and keep everything together. I remember one time in particular that happened to me where the woman had accused me of cheating, and I honestly hadn't. She had seen me just look at another girl, and that's what started it all. I was at the foot of her bed, begging her not to leave me, just crying my eyes out that she couldn't do that to me, that she meant so much to me. By chance, I looked up at her, and I realized she was smiling. There was this kind of a warm content in her eyes. She was completely eating up the fact that a guy was gushing over her. The minute that dawned on me, I got up and walked off. She must have seen the realization in my face too, because I didn't even make it to the front door before she was stopping me, saying, "Come back, we'll work it out." Most of what these relationships are is what I like to call, and I'm not coining the term, someone may have said it before, friction relationships, where the woman keeps the man in line, keeps him behaving a certain way by using a reward punishment system, kind of like a dog. The friction part comes from the way that friction is caused when the guy doesn't behave the way she wants. She gradually increases her expectations on what he's supposed to do, how he behaves, and his ability to maneuver within the relationship narrows until the point where it's like a funnel. In the end, he either conforms to everything she wants or the relationship breaks. Even giving her what she wants doesn't ultimately work because she's destined to become bored with it without having any sense of challenge or excitement in the relationship. She's getting everything she wants, so she loses interest there too, and in that sense it's destined to fail. I covered that all pretty thoroughly in a previous video. The dating game is rigged. I'll put a link down below. Do you know what the secret is to that kind of a situation? The person with all the power in a friction relationship is the one who cares the least. The way to win that is for the guy to genuinely not give a shit if she leaves him, or at the very least put on that front long enough that she sees his value and his lack of caring as a sign of power and confidence. I'm guessing there are some people out there that are going to call me an asshole for saying that, but let's be real here. It's probably a shit test. And if it's not, and she genuinely plans on leaving him or has issues with him, she's going to do it anyway. He might as well come out of it looking like a man, standing his ground, instead of begging like some weakling. By doing that shit, he puts her in a position where she can't respect him. All he has to do is look her in the eye and tell her, "How are you supposed to respect me if I don't respect myself?" Then he has to turn around and walk away and not look back. If she values anything about the relationship, she's gonna stop him, chase right after him, saying, "Don't you walk away from me," or something along that lines. And if she doesn't, fuck her. Anyway, back on topic. So before the time of MGTOW, men like that had less options. And one of the big ones is they would repeat the pattern with a different woman. The tragedy behind that is most of these men continue the process over and over again until they eventually hit an older woman who's past her wall, or they just simply date and fail that long and get settled with by one of these women that no longer have men chasing them, so they can't find anyone better. But the thought is, well, you know, I finally found the right one. Yeah, they're kidding themselves. They just tried long enough that the game finally left them behind. Another direction they could go is to become a pickup artist, which is almost the direction that I went with it. They become craftier, smarter, and turn the act of dating into more of a science, where they use calculations and patterns to cause people to behave a certain way around them, even acting in teams to get laid or to get a girlfriend. I will tell you firsthand, it actually works, but it doesn't do anything for the quality of women that you're going to pick up. Not in the sense of what a blue pill man is looking for, and that's what I was. Remember the stink bait analogy. My experience with pickup artistry showed me that all it really does is open the door for you. A guy's got to maintain that front the entire duration of the relationship if he's expecting to keep the girl he picked up with those methods. Though I really would need to do an entire video on pickup artists to do them justice. It is an entirely different mindset, and this is mostly how I feel it relates to blue pill men. At least those guys are finding the chinks in feminine armor. I just personally feel that it's more work than it's worth. In part, experiencing a lot of that actually led me to becoming a MGTOW, because when I got more dates and I got more experiences with women, I kind of decided that they really weren't worth the drama. So I could probably go a lot deeper into this, but I'm already past 9 minutes, and it's going to become a 15 or 20 minute video if I do. My next subject is going to be on male jealousy and what causes it and how to avoid it in regards to being jealous of guys and their flashy girlfriends. Tell me what you think of that, and tell me what you think of this video, the direction I'm going with it. Am I on the right track? By all means, tell me if you think I'm full of shit. I want to hear it. If you want more of my thoughts on subjects like these, like and subscribe.